All right, we're back, and back for the second part of. I've never done this before. Actually, I did this one before. It's kind of a double header, dual live stream, talking about the Raiders and updates, news updates, and of course, Vegas Stadium updates. There is no new public news. Trying to dig for, hey, wait a minute, I finally got a good stream status. Woohoo! That means that the worst is behind us in terms of this whole bad stream, poor stream experience I was going through because of the eclipse, right? Yes. Woohoo! Oh, I'm a happy guy. I really am. I'm very happy. So, this one, yes, back again. Now, Henry, I can deal with. I can address your Raiders questions. I wanted to get the NBA talk going, and also get a. I really was hoping for King Jose and the basketballers to come in, but I didn't get them. So I figured, okay, they didn't know, but I figured they would be fishing around to talk, right? But they weren't fishing around to talk, so hey, I didn't have it happen. But so now everybody is here. Is everyone getting the notifications? Or were you just refreshing the screen, which is nice, thank you very much, to, see that this came up, right? Jay got his, you got your notification? All right, cool. All right. You got your notification for both. All right. You got your notification for both. Okay. Oh, by the way, okay, so Henry Flores now can ask, he says, in a nutshell, I have shown your video to my Raider buddies, and they all agree Matt Millen committed grand larceny. Unquestionably. I'm not talking about the video that I made last weekend. The one before, where I pointed to the problem. And so in prepping for the Raider broadcast of the home game against the Rams, I would be shocked if Matt Millen had not watched my video. Or even if it wasn't Millen, maybe one of the production people who saw it, and you know how they have the headphones and they say, well, hey, you talk about this certain thing, right? Oh, yeah, and I'll talk about it. But then they got it from my video. Boy. So, Karen Christensen agrees. Crawford says, being a general manager was a grand larceny for the Lions. It was, yeah. No, you're right. And Henry Flores, I don't know who attracted the message. I guess you did. But Henry Flores says it appeared someone did. It does. It does. And so, hey, you know what? That's smarter media. It used to be in the blogger era that blogger ethics were that if you saw something a blogger said or did, you reported it came from that blogger. But we don't have that for the mainstream media. That's why, to be honest with you, I don't like it when Boss, who's my friend, mentions some other show, somebody being on another show, because they don't mention me. So I'm thinking, wait a minute. If they're not going to mention me, why should I mention them? My show is just as important as theirs. Okay? So and so Matt Millen says, oh, JP says they're showing the replay of the game on NFL Network right now. What quarter is it in? I'm curious. What quarter is it in? So every time I talk about the Vegas thing, it's the views kick up and up and up. That's great. So we got NFL. I sometimes wonder what people really expect out of this deal. There's a live control room. It's too bad I can't put a poll in here. I know there's some kind of way I can put a poll in. It's like I can speed, quality. I can control that. Annotations are on. Theater mode. Full screen. I can put full screen in there now. I don't know why I don't want to, right? Dave Chapeller says, has Mrs. Davis ever commented on the proposed Vegas move? If she has, I have not been made privy to her comments at this point. Crawford says $815 million is still rising north of the deficit. Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know what Crawford is talking about, I'll explain. I made a blog post, which if you go to zenny62.com, I made a blog post that is entitled Anatomy of a Deficit. The Raiders, Anatomy of a Bad Deal, excuse me. The Raiders' $815 million Las Vegas Stadium deficit. And you would say, where did I get that from? Well, I'll tell you, make it very simple without even going to the spreadsheet or having you look at numbers that you probably don't feel like looking at right now, and I understand that. The parking problem is such that the Raiders have to buy land for that. That costs almost $200 million. The Senate Bill 1, which is accurately called the Southern Nevada Tourism and Improvements Act, law says that the developer, in this case the Raiders, have to pay a quote adequate unquote amount of the total off-site transportation infrastructure costs associated with the stadium. Now you might say, what does that mean? It means highways is what it means. It means adding a high occupancy vehicle lane. It means building new interchanges and so on. So you've got two costs. You've got the parking issue, that's $200 million. You got the unknown off-site highway cost, all right? That's could be as much as $450 million. So right there, you're still at $600 million. And then you're looking at the study that Kimmy Horn put together, where they asserted the Raiders would have to find, they outlined all of the different impacts on parking and streets around the area that the Raiders would have, and estimated that 60% of the trips to the stadium would be by car. That's right, 60%. You might remember that if you follow this really closely, at Las Vegas Stadium Authority meetings, someone said, we don't quite know what the quote modal split is. When you hear a modal split, that simply means, are they going to take a car or a bus or a monorail, or they're going to walk? Those are modes. Well, the modal split is known. It's 60% car, which puts a premium on what? On finding parking, but also making sure that the streets and the roads are of sufficient width to handle the additional traffic. So how much that's going to cost? They didn't put a price tag on it. Okay? So all that points north. Oh, and then there's the adjustment the FAA wants. We don't know how much that's going to cost. Then there's the water issue. We don't know how the sewers are going to have to be upgraded and water handling capabilities and upgraded because of water runoff associated with the stadium. Hey, look, every time you pave something, it means that when you put cement over it, there's nowhere for the water to go. Prior to your intervention, hey, the water was simply just, absorbed by the ground, right? Yeah, maybe there was water on the ground, but after a while it's soaked up. But with concrete, it's looking for a place to go. Where do I go? Where do I go? I got no place to go, so I just go up here. That's got to be dealt with. Okay? So, Karen Christensen says, is the environmental impact study of 2 years going to hurt the Vegas timeline? There actually is not an environmental impact study because Nevada doesn't call for one. Parking study was done already. Transportation study was done. Preliminarily one was done. There's another call for one. Will that hurt the timeline? It could. It depends on the Southern Nevada Regional Transportation Commission. What is that? That is a body of elected officials, including Clark County Commissioner Christian Giuliani, who make decisions regarding spending for transportation, for highways in Southern Nevada, highways and roads. If they decide the Raiders are supposed to pay that more than an adequate amount, they'll price tag it. Something else too. Folks, we don't know how much the Raider stadium is going to cost right now. We don't know that. We won't know until May of next year. Ooh, hold on to your butts. Hey, Steve, how are you doing? And so, when will hey, and someone says, when will the GMP be provided? You read my mind. That's going to be out about, I would say, April or May. And, you're very welcome. He says, thanks for answering. You're very welcome. Yeah. And Crawford says he's watching NBA TV. Oh, my God, what did I say? So, it gets to May, if it gets to May 2018. Here's the funny thing about that whole GMP issue is that you've got, and I'll tell you what it is, okay? The funny thing about that is the Senate Bill 1 is written in such a way that the final drop dead date for the Raiders to have all their ducks in a row regarding the project is May 16th of next year. May 16th. So what if this new price tag comes out on May 18th and it gives the Raiders a stomachache? We can't afford this. Oh my God. That could happen. So there has to be, I have to investigate how they're going to square that circle. There's an obvious overlap of scheduling issues there. Henry Flores says, Zinni, what do you think Sheldon Adelson is thinking right now regarding this mess? I think he's thinking, they can't do it without me. So why are they trying? And he's got to be thinking, or maybe he's talked to Napoleon Kaufman, who is Las Vegas Sands community representative. And Napoleon here probably talking about that lousy 2 games of attendance that have been put in by fans of the Los Angeles Chargers and saying, wow, you know what? If that happens, this could happen to the Raiders Stadium too. And so maybe it's a good idea you didn't put your money into that bad investment. Maybe the NFL is going down in terms of popularity. I hate to say that, but we really have to start looking at taking a hard, cold look at the league. The NFL, to me, is evolving into a sport that has regional popularity. If you grew up back east, as we say here, particularly in the Northeast, and you had parents that had season tickets, and their parents had season tickets to Eagles games, or you were in Ohio, where football is king in high school level, or out here, where college football is king, and the NFL feeds off college football, then there's that hunger for it. But the further west you go, the less you have that really, with the exception of the Raiders, cemented in popularity. You've got the Raiders and the Seahawks and the Broncos. And the Arizona Cardinals have a base, but arguably not quite as fervent a base, although they are a base, as they are in Denver or Seattle or Oakland. Okay? So, hey, Kimberly Campbell, welcome. How are you? Mark Smith says, do you think the whole sitting for the national anthem thing has an impact on the ratings? I think with some people it does. Joseph Dave says, I lost focus of football with all these things going on and make me question legitimacy of the NFL. Well, see, that's Joe Davis saying that's one of my viewers. And therein laying an example of what I'm talking about. You cannot move teams around. As my mom put it today, she said, why are they, talking about the NFL, turning their backs on their loyal fans? I mean, you have had people who've, this is my mom talking, spent money, loyal to the team, and they want to repay that loyalty by moving. Why? I mean, how do you explain that to your mom? You can't. If you can't explain that to your mom, you can't explain that to anybody, all right? So, yeah, but money, so what? what about loyalty? You know, what about the money the families spent to go to the games? What do you say to the kids? Crawford said more of it is the evolution of fantasy football, the changing the game that has contributed to the fall of popularity of the NFL and lack of loyalty. And JP from the P says they have none. And so Melvin Lovejoy says Las Vegas has never had an event that hosted more than 24,000 people. And since we're talking about Las Vegas, I got to ask you a quick question. Mayweather or McGregor? Who do you pick? And should I do a live stream devoted to the fight? I'm asking you. Mayweather or McGregor? What do you say? Crawford says Mayweather. It's one for Mayweather. I should have a poll here. Steve Collins says, I've had season tickets since 1980, canceled this year. Season canceled. Crawford says yes and yes. Melvin Lovejoy says Mayweather, go live. Oh, so I should go live, all right. When should I do it? Raider Nation says that fight is a joke, Mayweather. Raider Nation, how do you know we haven't even had the fight yet? Ms. Zeitgeist says, if it's boxing, Conor doesn't stand a chance against Floyd. Mark Smith says Mayweather. JP from the P says 12 rounds of no excitement, laugh out loud. Joseph Davis writes, Mayweather is a master, pay him respect. Steve Collins says Conor is hype. And I can't see Conor being Mayweather, especially since Mayweather just has this thing in him that he just becomes this other thing, you know, he steps in the ring. And I'm not sure that McGregor is ready for that thing. We're talking about boxing. This is not ultimate fighting. Joseph True, how you doing? Says, hello, Zinni. Grandfather was a season ticket holder for 27 years for the 49ers. The move to Santa Clara outpriced the blue-collar worker. Same will happen in Vegas for the Raiders. And I'm glad you brought that up, Joseph, because remember the plan that Mark Davis asked me to do, and I posted the spreadsheet. I think you've seen it. The average PSL price in my plan was just $2,000. What is it for the Raiders? It's $4,000. $4,000. That's right. I sized it so that it was affordable to the current fan, even with the affordable housing issues in the Bay Area, let alone Las Vegas. Hey, Raiders didn't do that. The Raiders didn't think, well, gee, can they pay this? Ew. So there's this talk about the demographics by some of you out there, and one of the 37 may have written that. And I'm saying to this, hey, if you're someone who's following this and you've written about the Raiders and I've extended an olive branch for you to come on and talk about it and you haven't answered my email, shame on you. I'm just saying, all right? So, let's see here. Harry Flores says Mayweather or Sugar Ray Leonard in his prime. I think Harry Flores meant to say that Mayweather is Sugar Ray Leonard in his prime, plus the legal issues. Raider Nation says they are way overcharging for this stuff. Like the lowest ticket is $3,000. Welcome to Las Vegas. Marcellus Thomas says, hey, in fact, you know what? I wonder what it would cost to land a hotel room in Las Vegas about now, because this might give us, you know, we talk about how much it would cost to attend a Raiders game in Vegas. Let me go to someplace like, you know, hotels.com. I'm going to hotels.com right now, and I'm going to see, like, what it would cost for me to book a hotel room in Las Vegas for the weekend, all right? Let's say we go Thursday, right? Las Vegas, Nevada, and we check in Thursday, right? And then we check out on Sunday. And now let's make a weekend of it. Check out on Monday, right? And we do one room, 2 adults, you know. Take your girl, right? So, all right. It was, the MGM Grand Casino was $337. This is the deal of the day, folks. It's now $270. The Westin Las Vegas Hotel and Spa is $138, which is pretty good. It's a special deal. The Plaza Hotel and Casino booked 1 hour ago, that's $77. It went from 165 down to 77. The Plaza did. Okay. The Tahi, never heard. All Suites went from $99 to $79. The Club du Soleil, all resorts, went from $114 to $91. The Grand View at Las Vegas went from $157 to $126. The Polo Towers by Diamond went from $169 to $110. Treasure Island went from $200 to $140. So these prices are coming down. And the South Point Hotel and Casino went from $199 to $104. And we have the Red Rock Casino went from $380 to $145. Top hotel. And then the Venetian went from $277 to $237. And the Tuscany went from $239 to $107. Bally's went from $130 to $91. Bally's might be your best bet. Excalibur went from $141 to $91. I'm not an Excalibur fan. I'm just saying. The Westgate, which used to be the Hilton, went from $400 a night to $88. So we're getting a taste of what may happen with the Raiders depending on the game. You'll have early on jacked up prices, then when people don't buy them, they'll come down. So Baus is here. Baus is here. So we've got let's see here. John Marks says, yeah, I'm going back to your comments now. And we've got Marcellus says, Joseph True, the average PSL is going to be 4G. Yep. Raider Nation says lowest is not 4K. That's the average. Yeah, that's the average. Yeah, but here's the thing. In my concept, the average was $2,000. The Raiders $4,000. They haven't done a price test to know if that's going to work. They basically have cookie cuttered their PSL, pricing, similar to what Atlanta has done. But Atlanta is a richer economic area than Las Vegas, by far. So, John Marks says what Las Vegas needs is a financial wake-up call. Joseph True says, yes, it was a great plan, Zenny, thank you. The Raiders had the plans and still did not use it. They did not. Harry Flores says, no. Who will win, Zenny? Who will win? I can't see McGregor beating Mayweather. Marcellus Thomas says, I just got here. What's the new Vegas talk? There is nothing new. There's new speculation about different things, right? Like, for example, the possibility that there may be well, look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that a possible NFL strike in 2021 would harm the Raiders Stadium, and I think that's why they're trying to push it to finish in 2020. Because if they can't open in 2021, that if it's pushed back until next year, that would certainly trigger people asking for a portion of their PSL money back. It would cause a lot of problems. It really would cause a lot of problems. So they've got, Michael said they dropped to $1,400 last week, talking about the hotel room prices. Melvin Lovejoy says, I picked Sugar Way. Mark Smith says the fight costs about as much as it would to go see a Yankees game. Marcellus Thomas says it's going to be cheaper now. Wait till football is there if that happens. Yes. Justin Marshall says Mayweather is going to outclass him. John Mark says Mark Davis is having second thoughts about the Raiders in Vegas. Well, hey John, did you talk to him? Bosher Ruler says Canelo versus GGG is a real fight. Justin Marshall says tough call on Sugar versus Mayweather. I'd take Sugar Ray in his prime. Marcellus says, Bouse man, what's up? Tony Piling says, Tony, how are you? Says, how about Roger Goodell getting $40 million more for 5 years? I think he deserves it. I know it sounds like a shock, but you have to understand the pressures of his job. I think he deserves it. I mean, who would do better? Tell me, who would do better? That's the question. Jerry Jones? You want Jerry Jones as your commissioner? Just asking. Michael says GGG is going to give Carnelo a bad night, and I can't wait to see it all unfold. Boss Ruler says, I know who ya is, Kane. Okay. Marcellus Thomas laughs out loud. Richard Hayek, how you doing? Says, Just wait for late December in Vegas. Rooms go up from $100 up to several thousand in just a matter of days. JP from the P says for this weekend. Yeah, for this weekend. That's the price I quoted you, JP from the P, was for this weekend. Okay. Henry Flores says, Boss, who will win? Mayweather or Sugar Ray Leonard in his prime? And we've got, okay, Karen says maybe it's time for congressional hearings for the NFL and the owners to answer questions about possible antitrust violations. I agree. Marcellus Thomas says, let's see here. LX says, if strike happens, it would also affect LA Stadium opening, correct? It would. It's not so much the strike, it's the collective bargaining. Let's do a hypothetical. Let's say the Raiders were late, and the opening season was 2021, but there is no season. Wow. So we are maybe looking at 2022, maybe. But maybe, okay? We're maybe looking at 2022. The first aspect of the entire deal that's impacted are the personal seat license that were purchased for the right to hold the season tickets. The people who had the PSLs would rightly ask for a prorated return on their investment. That impacts overall construction revenues. But see, if we got to that point, the stadium would obviously be finished and open, but there would be money owed back that the Raiders would have to pay. That's on top of. You see, here's the reason I keep hesitating, because my unanswered question is where the Raiders going to come up with the money to fill in those gaps in payments for such things as parking for 14,000 cars. Where is that going to come from? Is the NFL going to turn around, get religion, get on his knees and beg Sheldon Adelson to write him a check? In which case Sheldon would have them very much Mo Green-like, where he wanted not just Mark Davis but the NFL itself. Where are they going to get the money to pay for all the infrastructure maladies I've talked about, from drainage to streets and roads to such things as light standards? Where are they going to get that money? Because Bank of America is not going to finance that. This thing is a money pit. So it's hard for me to get there. In other words, to the point where the PSL sales are hampered or they want their money back, because by that point, the PSL sales mostly would have been done. I cannot see the Raiders selling the PSLs out. I just can't see it. $100 deposit is $100 deposit. They got $50,000, I'm fine. But when the big bills come due, that $50,000 is going to get whittled down. Suppose it gets whittled down to $10,000. Okay? Just saying. John Mark says it might be, let's see here. We've got LX9933 says, so both Vegas and Los Angeles would impact simultaneously. Rams Stadium was moved back a year. That's right. It was moved back to 2021. So both of them will be impacted. And both of them would suffer financial impacts. Because Stan Kroenke has deeper pockets than Mark Davis and his crew, the Rams will be better able to weather that storm than the Raiders. Now, let's see here. Crawford says, you all talking about Whoop de Hoya. Let's see here. Now, Joe Santos. Jim Santos says, the Raiders would have asked for a non-refundable $100 to reserve a PSL instead of a refundable $100. There would be much of a change in the number, in your opinion? I don't think it's the refundable part of the $100. It's the cost. And this is from my experience with the PSL cost issue in Oakland. We, by survey, Well, not so much by survey. There was one done, but but by mathematical need, had to have PSLs totaling $83 million in total sales, all right, sold in order for the deal to break even. Instead, the tally was 56 million, just north of 56 million. That gap is what caused the bond to head to default, which meant that the city and the county coffers had to be tapped into at 10 million each to stop that, and that's gone on for years. Okay, so in the case, so basically, if you only have 10,000 of them sold, thank you for the investment, Mr. Tony. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And like I say to people, invest, please invest. Now, oh, by the way, something else too for investors. If you bring in a new investor at whatever they invest, I will match that investment. I will give you the equivalent shares of what that person invested. So if that person puts in, and you brought them in, if that person invests $2, then you get $2 worth of shares. If they invest $10, you get $10 worth of additional shares. $20, you get $20 additional shares. Now that's where the cap is. So if they put in 40, you'll get 20. They put in 100, you'll get 20. 20 is the cap. But I put that out there as an email to current investors, but I want to reiterate that. So if you have someone and you say, hey, come and invest in Zinni 62 Media, and you let me know that they're associated with you in some whatever kind of way, you get an equivalent amount of shares, because they're going to get their shares, but then you get additional shares. Just putting that out there, all right? Now, Joseph True says, Adelson would be better off helping out the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I think that's what we'll wind up doing. Joseph True, I really do. Brad Brugman. Hey, how you doing? And let's see here. Asking me, do I know why Mountain Davis is tapered off? It's preseason. Michael says, can McGregor land? Canelo is a power puncher and Mayweather did fine. Mayweather still got the best defense of all boxing. Hey, I got a question here for everybody who's talking about the fight. How many of you are going to watch the fight on pay-per-view? How many? How many have already got their tickets to watch the fight on pay-per-view? Where are you going to watch it? And what day should I do a live stream on this? Should it be tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday? What say you? Brad Brugman's not watching it. And Raider Nation says, isn't B of A funny at the 250? Yeah, they are, but the whole point is that if they don't get their money back, or all of it back, they're going to come calling, okay? So Richard says, do it after the fight, okay? Got it? And Boss says, surely faster. The Vino says, let's see here. I have no idea what he's talking about. See here. Pedro Gallardo says, weren't the Raiders looking at temporary stadium in Las Vegas? They were. And it says, wondering where Raiders will play after the Oakland lease. My prediction, this is what I'm going to predict. I predict they're going to get an extension. And because look, if it were to be had for them to play at Sam Boyd Stadium, it would have been done. It wasn't done. For a reason that we're not yet known of. It wasn't done. So, Karen Christian says, maybe the Raider Nation could come together and buy out Mark Davis. I like that idea. I'm liking that idea. And Brad Brugman says, okay, my bad. I'm just thinking they can sell more tickets. They opened up Mountain Davis. Right now, I saw, and Baus and I were talking about this, whereas I was under the impression it was a 40,000 ticket sale. But when I actually saw the game, it wasn't the spread of crowd that I expected. Although, on the 50s, the crowd was definitely there. And, they were active, but they weren't what I would expect for a normal preseason game with a star like Marshawn Lynch making his debut, right, in preseason. So I expected a bigger crowd, and you've got to peg that on the whole Vegas issue. Because I know of people who are season ticket holders who avoided the game. They went to Wyoming to watch the eclipse. So, let's see here. We got extension of 6 months. Sport Devil? I don't know what you guys are talking about, the Cody thing. It's almost 1 o'clock. Let's see here. Karen Christian says, maybe the Raider got that one. All right. I've got that one out of the way as well. Okay, now as far as Karen Christensen asked, does that offer recommending an investor include family members? Yes, it does, Karen. It includes anybody you want. It does. It does. It certainly does. It certainly does. Now, I saw something on Twitter about the Raiders that I want to go back and take a look at as I do this. So let's see here. Hey, Cam Miller, thank you very much for liking the tweet. Thank you for putting the tweet out there. I'm going to retweet that myself. I just did. And let's see here. Raiders. Hashtag Raiders. Let's see where we are with this. Hashtag Raiders. Raiders. Jihad Ward looks to set the haters straight. Defensive lineman looks to bounce back. Learned the job as a rookie. Now recovered from foot surgery. Okay. And I still contend that until the Raiders improve their defensive line technique, talking about Jihad Ward, is not going to have that stellar year that people believe he's going to turn in. And basically, Ward has sent a tweet. He directed what he called clown haters, and then he removed it, all right? He says there's going to be critics everywhere. Okay, fine. Critics everywhere. Well, I'm going to tell you, Jihad, the critics are only going to get worse with that bad technique you're being taught. Just letting you know, all right? Just letting you know, okay? Tony Polly says, enjoy a cup of coffee on me. Thank you, I got it, Tony. And I'll send you your shares tonight, which reminds me, folks, I'll say please invest. Please invest. Please invest. Cool. Whoops, that says, don't invest hotels.com. Let me take that off there. Remove that one. Hotels.com. There. Invest that one. Buffering. Yeah, Smile Be Happy. I think the buffering was caused because I had a number of different pages open. I closed those pages so that buffering should be gone. It's not buffering for me. If anyone invests $10 tonight, I will double their shares. So $10 will get you 20 shares. In addition to, so that means that, Tony, your $10 gets 20 shares. Anyone else matches his $10, they'll get 20 shares instead of the normal. When I say 20 shares, I mean $20 worth of shares as opposed to 10. So if anybody invests $10, they'll get $20 worth of shares right now. That includes Tony, who's just done it. So Tony, if you put in another 10, you'll get 40. Normally you would get 20, so you get 40. All right. So that's my offer to you for anybody who invests right now. Okay. So, some particular reason. There. All right. Now, Jared Ward is a backup. Big April says the whole D needs help. They need just better coaching. Rosh Ruler says if Raiders get Wilkerson, they can beat Pats. And I still don't believe it's a matter of... ML, thank you very much for the investment. ML, Scott put $10, so ML's 10 gets 20, and I've got to make sure I make a note of that. So you've got ML at 10. Let's see, Anthony is basically 10 for 20 shares. ML is 10 for 20 shares. Okay, cool. Got it? All right. So, it's very cool. All right? And Raider Kugo says, should the Raiders look at Revis at corner? I don't know if Darrelle Revis. I like Pac-Man Jones better. Pac-Man, I don't care what you say about him off field. Pac-Man on field is a playmaker. Darrelle Revis to me seems like he's lost some of that heart. That he's gotten to a point where he's satiated, not as hungry as he used to be. He's older, maybe a little step slower. Definitely a wily, crafty veteran, okay? I'd have to look at some more video before I make that determination, but I didn't like what I saw from Revis over the past year. So I don't know. Cran Christian says, do you know if attorneys are waiting for JPA meeting in September before they can announce they're taking on the case? Well, Karen, they already have the case. The attorneys are already retained. They're already paid. They're already doing their work. It's a matter of going to the JPA and the city and the county, and that's all still being worked out, okay? So, Coog Snipe came in with 20. Okay, so Coog Snipe came in with 20. So, under the circumstances, since Coog came in with 20, and via PayPal, thank you very much, he gets 40 shares. Okay? And I got another 20 from Lacey Photography, which is a new name. I don't know if Lacey is associated with anyone or not. Is Lacey... Okay. Let's see here. Let me see here. Lacey, let me check that because Lacey just put in... Oh, that's you. Okay, were you? Okay. Thank you, Ursi. I'm just checking it. Making sure. And basically, 20 will get you 40 tonight. I did say there was a cap, but you know what? I figured, it's not like... in terms of the total shares, it's not like I'm giving away the big story, right? So we've got enough to have an incentive system like this. And Jose Perez has 10. Okay, so their match is in action. And awesome, the match is in action. So we've got Joey at 10 gets 20. Lacey gets 20, gets 40. Okay, so that's great. We've got, 4 investors tonight. Joy 10, Lacey. I'm sorry, Lacey. 5 investors tonight so far. That's incredible. Thank you. 5 investors. 5 investors. 5 investors. So we've got, let's see here. And going back to the show, we have Rick Rice is in the house. Zinni taking the cap hit. Blue Leonard says, what exactly are people investing in? Tony says, I sent another 10, 40, your 40 it is. Okay. They're investing in Zinni 62 Media. This is crowdfunding under the Jobs Act of 2012, but with a catch. If you ever started a company, as I have, you have angel investors. For example, Mark Anthony Jones, who some of you may know, was a Warrior season ticket holder and a noted courtside seat possessor and trash talker of historic proportions. Invested $25,000 in my first company, Sports Business Simulations. Still up, lasted 8 years as a game. And we gave him 22% of our company, all right? And so this is along those veins. And I thought, well, there's this term donate. And I thought, why should a person donate if it's really an investment? They should be able to collect shares. Well, Zinni 62 Media is a registered Georgia company. I just had not activated the articles of incorporation because I didn't want to get taxed if I wasn't using it. But now I realize, wait a minute, I am using it, and I'm going to pay the $250 once I reach a level of $5,000 in investment to reactivate it, because now I've got the revenue. I would have the revenue to do so comfortably, right? That's the idea. It's crowdfunding, so that's what's going on. All right. So, Brad Berman says, keep it up. Hey, good night, Brad. Hey, I'll see you. Thank you, Brad. Hey, thank you very much for the encouragement. I appreciate it. Thank you. Joseph Day says, I feel the Raiders were not making a reasonable decision with their quarterbacks. Very well could have traded their popular high-pick backup quarterback for value. That's very true, Joseph. And Harry Flores says he thinks he'll go after Rick Wilkerson. And Baus says, Flores, I'll go after Richardson and Wilkerson, and I can buy Raiders hype more. And just in the West, baby. Blues Leonard says, thanks. Hey, thank you for the question, Blues Leonard. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. So, we've got, so, let's see here. Yeah. So, we've got something else, too, regarding the Raiders. I want to get, by the way, I have some very good news that I can't share regarding a certain Raider legend that I'm working to get on here that has said that they do want to come on in the near future, once their current contract assignment is cleared out. So I can say that right here. I don't want to say who it is because I don't want somebody jinxing it, all right? Boss Rula says, any of your thoughts on Trump? Hey, boss, I'd like to do a special live stream on that. I thought about it. I mean, I openly worry about losing my investors because people are political stripes, right? So what do you think? You know, if I do something, I want to give people a heads up, say, hey, look, I'm going to talk about this, and then move forward and talk about it. I'd like to do it tomorrow, actually, because I have a lot to say about that. But I want to get everybody involved here. I know we've got Go Warriors, who's 17, who's a Trump supporter. You know, I'm very sensitive to the fact that we may have a Green Party person on here. We have 42 people watching. All right. So, what do you think? What do you think? All right. What do you all think I should do? Would you all be upset if I had a live stream about the Trump issue? Okay. Colin says Trump. Basharula says the rally tonight. I thought it was a travesty. That was an absolute travesty. I didn't. So Justin Marshall says Trump is a distraction. The real scary stuff is people behind him, the GOP, Koch bros. But Justin, would you want me to do a live stream on that? Okay? Because look, I'm a Democrat. I think we can do, and we've done it before, we have a conversation that ropes in everybody. My issue is that YouTube has a tendency to not run ads against that. And so Henry Flores says, I will not and I will respect anyone's personal views. Richard Hike says, I wouldn't waste he doesn't think I should waste my time. Justin Marshall says, people need to know. Big April says, he's Green Party. See, he's Green Party. So, I think there's something here that could be interesting. Interesting. Baus says he's alcohol party. Yeah, I got that one. Harry Dunn says he's independent. Joseph Davis says, please, please, please speak. Okay. My thought regarding what's going on is, first of all, King Yu says Trump is worth discussion. I am on the White House press list. Kook Snipe says, still exploring options with JPA meeting next month as next step on the 15th. Crawford says, I party all the time. I'm on the White House press list. I have been since 2012. So I'd love to share. In fact, I've got, I believe, I haven't even checked to see what the White House has sent me. Hold on a second. White House. I've been on the White House. I was on the White House press list because President Obama put me there. Why? Because I did some things for President Obama. A lot of things that had to do with blogging. So, all right. The latest I got from the White House was 1206 12 Pool 13. And it says, motorcade returned to POTUS Ron Hotel in Phoenix at 8:55 p.m. local time. We have a travel photo lid. What that means is that a lid means no coverage. You put a lid on it, right? That was from David Boyer of the Washington Times, August 22nd. Now, for those of you who asked why I seek investments, it's for reasons like that. I'm on the White House press list. If I have the right amount of investment, I can buy a seat on Air Force One. Either I can buy it for myself or for a reporter that's with us, right? I could have somebody in Washington covering it. There's a lot I can do if I have the investment because I already have the card to get in. I'm already on the list. Understand? So, and I've been here. So, I'm also with Comic Con. I've already got these seats in the places. All right. So, that's the idea. Now, let's see here. We've got Vice President Daily Guidance. So I get the Daily Guidance and press schedule. The AP's The Wire. Photos AP and Reuters. CBS Crew. I can email any reporter that's heading the list. It doesn't matter who it is. I email them directly. I can ask them all kinds of questions. So I've got a lot here, all right? I mean, there is a lot here that I can, there's a lot of value here that I can access, all right? Justin Marsh says, my girl wants to party all the time. Boss says, to Spotify, download Eddie Murphy. And Coog says, Corvette. Oh, you sent $20. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Just now. All right. Let me go back to PayPal and refresh there. Yes, got you, Paul. Parada, got it. So that 20 will become 40. Okay, so I'm doing the double match. All right. So Paul 20 becomes 40 shares. Awesome. 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 It becomes 40 shares. Thank you for the investments, gentlemen. Thank you. And thank you. Now, we have Joseph Davis says, I feel we're in a civil war. Our bubble will pop. We need to focus on the actual issue. Griffin Wonder says, how do you think the Eagles will do this year? The Eagles, I don't see the Eagles at 10-6. I see the Eagles at 9-7, and here's the reason why. It's the second year of Carson Wentz, which means that people in the NFL, the defensive coordinators, have a book on how the Eagles will play him in their offense. The kind of plays they're going to call, tendencies, so on. The Eagles' defense is the wild card. But I'm really high this year on the Cowboys. The Eagles have to get past the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the team to beat. So I can't see. So if I had to choose, I would say Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Redskins, and Jaguars. All right? So, excuse me. I mean, not Jaguars, but what am I saying here? Because Jaguars are the AFC East. But I am. Yeah, that's it. I would say Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, and Redskins, which means the Redskins come in last place again. Now, that's because of Kirk Cousins. I'm willing to say that the Redskins and Eagles switch places, okay? The Giants have the defensive stuff to be a powerhouse this year. They could march back to the Super Bowl. They will give the Cowboys a run for their money. Not could, they will. They will. All right? JP from Pete says he thinks the Redskins will win the East. And yeah, Jags are in the AFC South, absolutely. And the Jags are having some issues with their quarterback. Big April says, Mr. Zinni, who do you think will have a better season, Cooper or OBJ? OBJ. OBJ, nothing against Amari Cooper. He's a great, steady player, but OBJ is just, he's also injured. Let's check that. Hold on a second. OBJ just got himself injured. Giants. Let's see here. OBJ Giants. Yeah, he's going to miss the season opener. And that's according to the New York Daily News. And he's got an ankle injury. I'm going to check the NFL Wire. It says the X-ray. Now you've got two problems. The X-ray on Brandon Marshall's shoulder came back negative, according to head coach Ben McAdoo. But this is according to New York Daily News. Odell Beckham Jr. could miss the season opener in Dallas on September 10th. Woo! McAdoo would not indicate how long Beckham would be out, only calling the injury an ankle sprain on a conference call Tuesday after the star underwent an MRI. So, that's can OBJ still best Amari Cooper even with that injury? I'm going to say probably not. Okay? Probably not. But I'm going to say it's about even. I'm going to say right now it's a toss-up. I don't know. OBJ is a special kind of player. I'm not saying Amari Cooper is not. But Amari Cooper has not blossomed into that guy yet. He's close, but he's not there. So, now, Boss thinks OBJ is overrated? Nah, I don't think that at all. James McClendon says, Zinster, I can't enjoy an ounce of football with a potential relocation hanging over our head. This hurts more than 1982. I don't know how anyone can talk on the field action respectfully. No, I've covered the NFL for years. So, I'm not going to stop covering the NFL, and I'm not going to take myself out of it. I started covering the NFL draft before I focused on a single team. So why should I stop doing that? It's been the cornerstone of this business. If I stop doing that, it makes all these investment money worthless as far as I'm concerned. People here have seen me at NFL owners meetings in the front, talking with the commissioner. They bought into the value that I have created here. Why do I want to kill that? Because the Raiders are making a mistake. That's the Raiders' fault. It's my job to point out maladies in the deal from my unique perspective and training as a planner. But I am not going to stop being an NFL fan. That's just the way it is. I am not going to stop being an NFL fan. At all. So, and thank you. I am not a fan of the move. Okay? So, now, Boss called it. Amari fell off in the second half of the season. Will he do it under this new system? Well, this system with a different style of play calling. Katie says, Mike Evans, really? Antonio. Rick Rice says, that's what I'm saying, Harry. Nobody knew who he was before he made that one catch. And Griffin Wonder says, are you excited that Marshawn Lynch is back in the Bay? Completely. And go Bears. Hey, college football season. Tomorrow, let's talk college football season, those rankings, okay? Let's do that tomorrow. Let's get that, get that out there. And Griffin Wonder says, have I been on United 7087 yet? I was for all of 18 minutes, and then we had to get off the flight because it was delayed, and if otherwise, we wouldn't have reached our destination. So, Bashula says, I will if no lawsuit occurs. I'm done with NFL. And Justin Marshall's done with the NFL, but I am not. I am not done with the NFL. I am an NFL fan. And I'm going to stay in and be the corporate heretic that helps fix the league. How's that? And besides, if you're done with the NFL, you can't work your little magic mojo on the Vegas deal, right? Go, got your mojo working. Clap, Scott. Yeah. Right? That could happen. All right? That could happen. Meanwhile, we have James Clapper, former National Intelligence head, questioning Donald Trump's fitness for office. He just did that a moment ago on CNN. And Tony Piling says, I wish Josh Gordon was still in the game. Waste of talent. It is. Sad. Very sad to have that happen. Rick Rice says, Cooper is going to be a beast. Different player this year. He's ripped. Probably taking the same juice as John James. Foster really says, I don't think OBJ is overrated. He's amazing. Thank you. Now, I can't compare Amari Cooper to OBJ. I cannot do it. And yeah, that one catch, people talk about that one catch, but that one catch was the start of something incredible. The only thing that marred OBJ's career was that stupid argument and scuffle that he got into with the cornerback, with number 24, with the Carolina Panthers, the cornerback there, who I'm thinking about, who actually I interviewed at the Super Bowl Media Day in Super Bowl 50, when Super Bowl 50 came to the San Francisco Bay Area, and he told me that he thought that Cam Newton was one of the best passers he had ever practiced against. He told me that. Josh Norman, thank you. Josh Norman. He told me that. That scuffle was immature. Straight out immature. It was ridiculous, and I do not like to see black athletes act like that toward each other. You don't find the women doing that. Why the men? You know? We reach a high standard, a high level. Why do we have to go after each other like that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Am I going to watch the Mayweather fight? I'm not going to pay pay-per-view to watch it. I'm going to figure out some kind of other way to do it. But I'm definitely going to do a live stream about it after the fight. Okay, that's a definite. We've settled that here. So be here after the fight. We'll talk. All right. I may even have, since Bob's is such a great fight game guy, I might have a live stream with him, and maybe I'll have somebody else on I never had on before. Just have some fun, right? So KD says all that scuffling. Yeah, I'm going to stop, by the way, at 1:30. It's 1:18 now. Donis asked me, do you think Trump is playing the media? I think Trump is playing his presidency. He's really flirting with getting bounced, okay? And that is the path that he's on. He's taking on Mitch McConnell. He is not running the country. He is still acting like he's running for president of the United States, but he's not running the country. And in so much as, okay, let me explain that he did pass HR 336. You would say, what's HR 336, right? But Daily Guidance, this happened earlier today, where he signed HR. Well, he not only signed HR 336 into law, House resolution. President Trump, also issued a statement on deaths of the sailors on the USS John McCain. And, HR 339, excuse me. HR 339 is the Northern Mariana Islands Economic Expansion Act, which makes certain changes to the traditional worker program for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Ooh! Okay, so he did sign that into law, all right? So he's doing something running the government. He got a bill through. Not his. He signed that into law. And let's see, we had acting DHS Secretary Elaine Duke, USA Today. She wrote in the USA. This is what this White House does that the Obama White House didn't do. This White House takes a press release of editorials that its staffers wrote in publications, and it puts those out for other press people. I've never seen that before. That's wild. I'm just saying. Acting DHS Secretary Elaine Duke, USA Today editorial, border walls work, Yuma sector proves it. Okay. I get about between 11 and 50, maybe 60 emails from the White House a day. Yeah. I could do a live stream solely on what I get from the White House. Hey, that's a good idea. A day. I might do that. I just might do that. Kelly Pilot says, I saw that Trump has spent so much, there isn't enough money to pay all his Secret Service. And not only that, here's the thing about that, all right? You've got 18, Donald Trump has 18 more people under Secret Service watch than President Obama. That's right. President Obama had 31, okay? And basically now Trump has 49, actually 47. 16 more people. 16 more people than President Obama under Secret Service watch. So, more investors. Yes, here. Joseph Brennan says people need to remember the most important person in the country right now. Not Trump, it's Mueller. Mueller hired one of the lawyers who took down Enron. Watch out. Looking forward to new findings. Hey, good point, Joseph, and welcome to the show. And Boss Sharula says Raiders defense needs a better middle linebacker and DT combo. This is no good. It's the technique, dude. It's the technique. It's not the personnel. I think Marcus Lee can do the job done. Okay? Who's going to save the Raiders D this year? Well, I would hope it's Kim Norton Jr. changing up the technique. Peter Garojo says, I think people are going to see who's better between OBJ and Cooper when they play. And, I don't know. Kevin KD says, I don't like black athletes doing that to each other any more than you do. No, I don't. I hate that. It drives me crazy. It's like these kids. Nobody else does that except us. And this is something that the great doctor, hey, that's who I should get on, Harry Edwards talked about why that happens at that level. And I don't want to take anything from what Dr. Edwards said. I want to see if I can get Dr. Edwards on here. Because that would be a great conversation to have with him. Dr. Edwards, why does this happen? I'd love to hear what he says. I really would. Yeah, Dr. Edwards. I'd love to hear what he says about that. So, let's see here. Do I think Kasich would make a better POTUS than Trump? I think anybody would make a better. Yeah, absolutely. Good night, Bayful. Yeah. Joseph Bensman says, did you see what Mnuchin's wife said? Oh, what a horrible thing. Yeah, I saw it. I followed her back on Instagram. She set her account to private. So I just figured, hey, I'll set it to private. Maybe she'll let me in and check out what's going on. What a horrible thing. Folks, if you don't know, Steve Mnuchin's wife. Steve Mnuchin, for those of you who don't know, is the Treasury Secretary. Also, you may not know that Mnuchin is an executive producer on Wonder Woman, the movie. That's right. That's right. That means that he helped make Wonder Woman. Now, his wife and he went on some sort of trip, and wife had some aide put a picture of them getting off, I believe it's Air Force 2, off the plane, and they Air Force 3, and someone remarked, hey, it's deplorable that you're using this for, you have all this money using this for taxpayer money. And then Mnuchin's wife, shot back and basically said in so many words, hey, we're rich, we've done more for the country than you have, you don't have any money, get over it. I'm not kidding, that was the central message. That was bad. It's just one more thing, one more reason for people to say, gee, this is not the right person for the job of President of the United States, talking about Donald Trump, because the person in charge sets the tone for how his or her, if it were Clinton, staff behaves. We saw that with President Obama. No drama Obama. So we never had people from Obama's staff doing these things. Awful. And yeah, Vanderdos is getting tossed around because his technique is bad. 125, folks. So we got, let's see here. Oh, let's see here. Boss talent is best demonstrated under the perfect conditions where technique is taught. Remember that. So, remember that. Remember that. And BC says, I love the quality of Z62 shirts. Hey, thanks. Are you going to buy one? Please. That also counts as an investment, I might add. It really does. And by the way, thank you all very much for investing. I always say invest. We have this, again, if you invested tonight, and you basically got double your shares tonight. So everyone got double their shares invested. Yeah. So, boss says, still need talent, my brother. Still need it. You heard from Ted Hendricks on that. Now, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with him. Yeah, well, talent is only talent when talent acts. Look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers under Tony Dungy. Same defense the year before, right? They didn't do anything. But under Dungy, they destroyed the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, destroyed them. That 1998 contest was not funny. That was when Mariucci was coaching, all right? In fact, I had interviewed Steve Mariucci about that. They took the 49ers offense apart. I mean, just took them apart. Dungy did that with the same personnel they had the year before. Coaching matters. See? All right. 127, folks. Joseph Brinneman says, I'm a Giants fan. Hopefully our offensive line, G-Man, as I like to say, is good enough. Raiders will definitely be fun to watch. Khalil Mack is a great player. Khalil Mack is a horse. Lynch will add quite a punch to that offense. I agree. Joseph, you know what I'm most looking for? The kind of gadget plays and scheme designs that Todd Downing comes up with. I like his approach. It's very Bill Walshian. Yes, I did say that. Now, Joseph Brinson says, McCaffrey, the rookie. You know, here, I'm going to go through this, but I am not afraid to say that Christian McCaffrey just may wind up being the rookie of the year. Oh, by the way, Myles Jarrett got a sack. Out of a three-man rush, he came in, got a sack. Myles, the first of many. B says, Z, where can I read up about your shares? You have to invest. Because after you invest, then I send out, oh, I'm sorry. No, that's wrong. I'm sorry. That's not the case at all. Let me get the page for you for that. So it's our investor relations page. So excuse me for saying that. That I misspoke, okay? I got a little carried away with myself. Invest info. There is the page, BC, right there. Okay? Oh, BC, I appreciate the question. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free. You can email me, call me. I'm happy to talk with you and talk about my plans. I mean, it's working capital, but I really want to get to a point where I can bring in bloggers. I have bloggers like Richard Hike. Baus has a channel here. He's a manager. He can make a live stream anytime he wants to. We talked about it. I want to build a group of people, ideally worldwide, that are making content, putting it on Zenny62, which then goes through our network, right? Got it. Thank you. Karen Christian says, I would like to reword my earlier question to, are the attorneys waiting for the JPA to officially announce they are filing a lawsuit against Mark Davis? It's different. The lawsuit won't come from the JPA, the legal response, okay? The legal response will come from the fans. The question is how the JPA wants to participate. That's what the upcoming September 15th meeting will be, all right? Hey, folks, it's 1:30. I will see you all tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll talk Trump, okay? We'll have a special live stream to talk Trump and the White House and what's going on, all right? Looking forward to it, all right? Thank you all, everybody. 8:30 tomorrow, 11:30 at night. Thank you all, okay? You can bet your last money it's all going to be a Stone Gas Lane, especially tomorrow night. And I bring in all comers tomorrow, Democrat, Republican, Green Party, Independent, what have you. See you all tomorrow. Peace. Thank you, boss, for your friendship and participation. Thank you, Henry Flores, for your friendship. Thank you, Crawford. Thank you, everyone who's invested. Quite a few of you have. I'm going to get right to work tonight, getting your shares right out to you. And thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, ML. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Thank you all. This has been a very funny evening. No, you the man, Rick Rice. You the man. You the man. Good night, everybody. I'll see you. Thank you. You the man.